Okay, so you go ahead and you select the sphere, and top view is probably the way I would look at it first. And if you go ahead, and I'm going to go into edge mode, I can actually double click on an edge and it will surround all of these surrounding ones. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on these two edges and then use W to kind of drag them up. So that's kind of the start of the spire of this part of the image. Now I'm going to go into vertex mode and just get this very middle one and move it up. Okay, it kind of depends on how spiky you want your spire to be. Don't go crazy with it, but you can certainly pull it up to a certain extent. And then you switch to object mode and there it is. And if you feel like it's a little too abrupt, you can go back into edge mode and I could just double click on this edge right here. Oops, I got out of edge mode somehow. You double click on this one, and then I could just pull it up so it was a little, So there's your spire. So now we're done with the modeling part of our temple. And what I like to do is take the whole thing. Oh, and I do realize that the one that I had as label as temple, this should be column. Silly me. So I'm going to go back and rename those. Column 2, whoops, if I could spell. Column 3 and column 4. That way when I select the whole temple, I can go to edit, group, and this should be temple. So when I click on it, it should select the whole thing, which is what you want. Alright, so now we're going to add some materials to this. So for one thing, you could just select the whole thing, right click, assign new material. We could make this a shinier material or not. Maybe I'll go with blend. And then just over here, blend, go ahead and just call this temple shader. And then choose a color that's kind of a, think of a sand, like a pearl kind of a color. Something in the light brown or light yellow spectrum. Okay. And then if you would like to, you could go ahead and add a second color. So we're just going to do 2 colors to this to start. So I'll call this one blend. I'll call this temple shader dark. And then I'll choose, there's the color I had before. I'll just darken it up just a little bit. So there you go. And if you don't like it, you can click on this one, go back to my temple shader and darken it up a bit because honestly it's not, doesn't quite match the other one very well. There you go, that's a little better. The last thing you're going to do is you're going to just create a sphere. You're going to move it up to the tip of your spire and you're going to assign a new material to it. And I'll go ahead and choose, I'll choose fawn this time. And choose a color for it. We're going to make this thing glow. So if you come to your special effects tab, you can up your glow intensity. And when you do it, it'll seem like nothing is happening. But when you preview it, well, I should probably preview it where it's in screen. Do you see how there's a glow? So you don't want to go too intense, otherwise when you test it out, you'll see that it's kind of crazy. But you want to be able to see it, so add the glow. And there you go. So you can go ahead and go File and Save Image. Make sure you're saving it as a JPEG. And then just go to, I think I closed out of my DSD. But you go to the 3D Temple Shader assignment. Or, sorry, not 3D Temple Shader. I've got 2 things on my mind. You go to your 3D Temple assignment, 3D Temple, and you turn this in, looking more or less like this one does. And then in the different assignment called 3D Personalized Temple, that's when we're going to do this kind of stuff. And I'll just show you some of the basics of those. And you'll turn that in separately. So as far as 3D Greek Temple goes, you are done. Go ahead and turn that in. And the next video will be the 3D Greek Temple Personalized.